name is Stephen LaRose. And after looking at my audience analysis, almost everybody, I think, except for one person who responded, said they wanted to learn more about Quentin Tarantino. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I've been a filmmaker for most of my life, and his work has influenced a lot of like my creative style and like how I operate. So that's my credibility, I suppose, and hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a better understanding of him and his art. And I'm going to do that by telling you about his early life, what he was like as like a child, go into his filmography, and like see how his different styles have been portrayed throughout, and then go on to his global influence around the world. So in his early life, he grew up without a father, and he went through grade school up to the 9th grade, and then he dropped out and got a job at a rental store, which is basically like a huge library of films for him to study, and that was like his college. And I listened to a Howard Stern interview that was back in December while he was doing press runs for Django Unchained, and they talked about how he didn't have a father and how he dropped out. And then what I thought was the most interesting was the second job he had was he lied about his age when he was 16 to work as an usher at a porno theater. And back then it was like in the 70s, so like they still ran film and all that stuff. But anyway, just the kind of guy he is, like he lied about his age to work at a porno theater. It's kind of interesting. And so anyway, back at the video store, he met his writing partner, Roger Avery, and together they worked on Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, and the first short film that Quentin directed, which was called My Best Friend's Birthday. And that movie was the first movie he made, which went on to make the rest of these movies, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. Early on, you can see in those two movies he uses a lot of violence, a lot of profanity, and is very controversial in his content. And that you see in those early movies is carried on throughout the rest of his films. And Kill Bill, Kill Bill 2, and Death Proof are more of his homage films. Kill Bill and Kill Bill 2, he pays homage to old kung fu movies that he grew up loving, and Death Proof is like homage to grindhouse movies, which, if you're not really familiar with those, are kind of like really gritty, like cheaply made movies. And he went so far to like insert like digital film burns and like skips in the movie to make it feel like really authentic to the films of that era. Most recently, his films that he's made are Inglourious Basterds and Django Unchained, both of which he kind of really pushes the boundaries of the medium by changing history. If you've seen Inglourious Basterds, then you know what I'm talking about. And with Django Unchained, that was really controversial because of the content and the language that he used, which was relevant to the story he was telling, but like to modern audiences, at least in America, that was like really shocking to a lot of people. Which brings me to his global reception and how he's been seen abroad. In 1994, when he made Pulp Fiction, he got a lot of acclaim in France. He won the Palme d'Or, which is the highest award you could win at the Cannes Film Festival. And then he was also nominated here for Best Picture, but it didn't win. He instead won Best Screenplay. This is a foot fetish that he has, which is seen like throughout a lot of his films. It's kind of interesting, I guess, but like this is the kind of guy he is, and he puts this kind of things into his movies. Anyway, that's him winning the Palme d'Or in 1994, and the other photo is him with a bunch of like French photographers. So like the way he reacts with them, if you see like his pictures with foreigners, like he's much more eccentric and like enjoying the crowd, but like when he's here, he's more rigid and proper, I guess, to not piss anyone off maybe, or just that's just his behavior in front of other people. So his success abroad has been gone so far that Django Unchained was actually the highest grossing Western of all time. I think it won, according to Box Office Mojo, $460 million worldwide. And his success is starting to come over here. He won the Oscar for Best Screenplay for Django Unchained this year. And in his post-acceptance like press conference, he's talking like with reporters after he won the award, and somebody asked him how he felt being an American filmmaker, and what he said was, I consider myself an American and I'm a filmmaker, but I make movies for the planet Earth, which I think is really true. He's not subjecting himself to movies that American audiences are gonna like love, but however, the story isn't what he wants to tell. So he's gonna say whatever he wants to say regardless if people here like it or not, and it just so happens that people everywhere else really enjoy it and take that into account, I guess. But that's who he is as a filmmaker and as a person. His early life was really kind of crazy, working in a porno theater and not growing up without a father. And his filmography, you can see a lot of different things: feet, language, violence, controversy, and then his success abroad has been really, he's had a lot of success abroad as opposed to here. So hopefully you understand more about Quentin Tarantino, his art, how he is as a person, and maybe just have your curiosity stirred a little bit. Thank you.